Hey, get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink, ho, let's get right. Getting paid, I'm getting paid. Roll one up, let's catch this flight. Pour another cup, ho, let's get right. Getting paid, I'm getting paid. Hey, it's your boy Tight. But you tuning in with Ray Ray's podcast. Picking my boy Ray. Know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, Cowboys Nation. It's your boy Ray, host of Ray Ray's Cowboys and this new channel, Ray Ray's Cowboys. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, real quick, let's pause this video. Let's subscribe right now. Subscribe, all things Ray Ray's Cowboys. Hey, and if you like stuff outside of the Cowboys world, outside of the football world, make sure you're following me at Ray Ray's Podcast. Like our newest episode we did with actor Jason Mitchell from Straight Outta Compton. So go follow and subscribe that page for content like that. Well, it's here. We finally got something we could talk about outside of the controversy and the speculations from training camp and practices. It's actually game day, and this is the special game day preview edition of Ray Ray's Cowboys. We're going to talk about things that I'm going to be looking forward in this game, and some players that are really caught my eye, and I think either A, they need to have a good games in the preseason, or if they're in trouble of actually the roster spot not being available. So, no further ado, let's go get into it. All right. Like I said, it's game day. The Cowboys play the LA Rams today, 6 o'clock Central Time. Before the game, you can catch me live over on Attack on Cowboys. Hey, be sure to be watching us live stream as we give our analysis going into this first preseason game. All right. So I made my notes of things that I think I'm wanting to look out for, and I'm gonna do it from the player side of it. A couple players I'm looking to see hit the field, and also I'm gonna tell you some players I think they may be in danger of not making this roster. Okay, so let's get into it. My first player that I'm so excited to watch is gonna be Donovan Ezrakiel. Our second round pick, defensive end out of Boston College, 6'2", 248. Um, my personal opinion, outside of George Pickens, Ezraku may be the most important piece, uh, addition wise, for this Cowboys this offseason. Especially with all the stuff going on with Micah and things of that nature. I think he may end up being one of our more important additions to this team, and I just can't wait to see him, translate what he's been doing in practice onto the field. And I will have a video coming more why I think Donovan Ezraku is the most important addition this offseason. Okay. Okay, let's follow it up with some guy I think that's very in jeopardy of not making his roster. We're talking about Jalen Brooks. Now, based off of the roster predictions from last year, what the Cowboys did, the Cowboys carried 6 receivers on the roster at the final cut down day. Okay, so we kind of got a feeling who our top five are going to be. You're going to get CD, George Pickens, Cavante Turpin. Then I would say Mingo, and I'm gonna say Tolbert is gonna make it based off the production he's already had in the NFL. Last year was probably one of his most productive seasons. He had 7 touchdowns, I believe, over 600 yards. So he's been productive somewhat on the field. So that's why I think his roster spot is safe. There's been talk about, Mingo is one that wide receiver 3 position. We don't know yet because I feel like they're gonna circle in Cavante Turpin a lot this year on this offense. I think Shoddy is going to get creative this year. As I'm saying, that 6th position is up for grabs right now. I think it's a race between Ryan Flanoy, Jalen Brooks, and Trayshawn Holden. But right now, I would say Brooks has the edge mainly because he is the starting gunner on special teams. But let a guy like Trayshawn Holden or Ryan Flanoy, catch some heat, catch some magic. We don't know. I don't think his roster spot is safe on this team. Okay. Then who we got here? I'm really looking forward to see something from Jalen Tolbert. I just mentioned him a second ago. Like I said, he had some production last year. Like I said, he had like 7 touchdowns, I believe, last year. This is an important year for him. Contract year. How players like to do in Dallas on contract years. A lot of them like to ball out. So We'll see what's gonna go on with that. But I think his roster spot is safe. But I just want to see him have some production in the preseason. Get some steam going into the regular season. All right. Another guy I'm very excited to see, Jay Toya, one of our draft picks. I think he's been getting a lot of reps at that the one spot at defensive tackle, especially with Mozzie Smith. The size going up and down the size. Then recently Mozzie got hurt. I think this preseason will be very important for Jay Toya. The more snaps he gets, I think the safer his roster spot becomes on his team. So be looking out for Jay Toya. All right, another guy I really love, another draft pick, Jaden Blue. He got hurt in practice a couple days ago, but I don't think he's gonna be able to play this preseason game. But that's someone I want to see get some reps whenever he gets healthy. Once he get some more runs with the first team, and hopefully he can be dynamic for this team. Catching the ball out of the backfield, breaking home run hit. If he has great pass pro, I think those give him more opportunity to be on the field. Um, Last year, the Cowboys had four running backs make the roster, and one of those running backs included the fullback, Hunter Lipke. So, based off those numbers, right now, I see it as Miles Sanders, Javante Williams, Jaden Blue, and Hunter Lipke. We don't know. That may change. Somebody may prove something and force a way onto this team, but, we'll see that here in preseason, all right? This guy, I'm expecting to see a lot of action in the preseason, and I'm excited about this guy. I think he could develop to be something great one day. We're talking about the quarterback, Joe Milton. Dude has a cannon. They just did an interview with him. What's the longest pass he threw? He said 90 yards. Dude's got a cannon for an arm. And I think if he develops right, potentially, could that be your possible replacement for Dak later on down the road once Dak gets older? I don't know. Dak is 30 years old now. I'm not saying we need to try to replace him right now, but I'm saying it's always smart to look ahead and look into the future. And hopefully, Joe Milton, can pan out to be more of what we thought we were going to get out of Trey Lance. Okay, so I'm very excited to see him get some burn in preseason and light it up. Okay, number 7. Another guy I'm looking forward to see have a good preseason. He's been having a decent camp. Jonathan Mingo. He didn't do too much production here in Dallas last year. Um, Granted, Dak was hurt. We had Cooper Rush playing most of the time. Mingo was here, so I can't wait to see him, get some action with Dak and some Joe Milton and see what he's going to look like. I think he will complement, CD and George Pickens well, especially when you have George Pickens on one side, CD in a slot. I think Mingo will be a great compliment on the outside. All right. Another guy I'm really looking forward to. They've been having him play some slot a little bit. Our safety, Wanye Thomas. This is going to be his third year on the team. We had a restricted tender on him, so we signed him. He was one of our restricted free agents we brought back. I'm excited to see what Wanye can do. I think this could be a very important year for Wanye. Um, Donovan Wilson is his last year uh, on his contract. So if Kawanye gains some more reps at safety, what is he going to be able to do at nickel? Because the Cowboys are still trying to figure out all this situation because, we still have a lot of guys hurt in that cornerback room. Can Wanye be versatile, play a little bit of safety, play a little bit of corner? That's someone I'm very excited to see in this preseason, okay? Number 9, Jamon Hall on my list. And I think it's important because I don't know if you guys saw the first depth chart that was released. They had Kamon Hall listed as your starting nickel cornerback based off of the injuries from Diggs. That's moving Bland to the outside right now in the preseason. That's what Ravel, our third round pick, being injured. Josh Butler being injured. So right now they have Kamon Hall listed as your starting nickel slash slot corner. So I'm excited to see what he can do because he's one of those guys that's fighting for one of these roster spots. And I think if he has a great camp, great preseason, he can force himself onto this roster. All right. Number 10, veteran guy we signed not too long ago here in camp, Lyle Collins. He's back for his third stint with the Dallas Cowboys. It's one of Dak's favorite, friends and teammates. He's back. And if I remember that infamous clip where he was Dak's bodyguard, he lived true by that. I'm excited to see what he does. The Cowboys, we had that injury to Robert Jones, which they put on IR a couple days ago. So his season is done. Rob Jones is not coming back. So they brought in Lyle Collins, a guy with position flex. He played guard here for Dallas and ultimately moved over to right tackle. And that's what got him that contract extension with Dallas, being the starting right tackle. Could this be a guy that they just add for depth? Could this be a guy that pushes, Terrence Steele for playing time? We don't know. I think if he has a great preseason, great training camp, oh, definitely he's a lock to make this roster because he has that position flex. Position flex is key for this offensive line. Right now, we're dealing with injuries with Tyler Guyton. Steele is coming back from injury. So a bunch of different things. It's good to have depth, especially like I said with Robert Jones going to the IR for the year. All right. This guy's position, I don't think is in jeopardy by anything, but I just want to see him on the field hitting people. And I'm talking about defensive end Sam Williams. This is his fourth year in the league. Last year of his rookie contract. Like I said, those guys with those on the last year of their deal, they ball out. Look at our guy Osa last year. He got the bag after that fourth year. He produced. He improved year and year after year. Sam Williams missed all of last year. And he's a guy that's a candidate I think could be a guy that go ahead and gets paid early. We already saw Jake Ferguson jump the line and get paid. I think Sam Williams could be one of those guys. So he's a guy I'm very looking forward to seeing this preseason and see what he does. Okay. I talked about this guy briefly earlier. Number 12, I have Trayshawn Holden. Trayshawn Holden. He's been having a great camp from a lot of reports saying. Everyone talked about his speed. He wasn't really that fast of a guy. But like I said, that could be a guy that pushes Jalen Brooks, Ryan Flanoy off this roster. If he has a great preseason, continue building off the camp he's having so far, that's a name I'm looking out for. That would be a guy I would be afraid to cut because I don't think he would make it to the practice squad. I think someone would scoop him up. So if Trayshawn Holden balls out, he could be either A, push one of those other receivers off the roster, or B, force the Cowboys to go into the season with seven receivers. But we'll see with that, okay? 13, I have Zion Childress. He was one of our undrafted free agents, DB out of Kentucky. They said he's been making some noise in training camp. Like I said, Kamon Hall is fighting for a roster spot. So is Zion Childress. So if he is able to produce, like I said, we have so many injuries right now to that corner position. If he's able to hold his own, I think that's a guy that could sneak onto this roster as well too. Okay. Number 14, a guy like I said, I don't think he's in jeopardy of his roster spot. It's just a guy I'm ready to see get more and more playing time. As Marshawn Nealon, our second round pick last year. He got hurt last year, but I think he's been having a great training camp so far. I can't wait to see him get more and more playing time because he's definitely probably going to be one of your starting defensive ends. And I'm looking forward to see what he does, okay? Number 15 is a guy we signed at a free agency. I'm not 100% sure he's a lock to make the roster because we're so deep in this position. It's going to be defensive end Peyton Turner. We signed him from New Orleans as a free agent this offseason. This is his fifth year in the league. Um, I think he has a possibility to get a lot of playing time. Setting the edge is something I think he's really good at. I'm not necessarily he's a lock to make the roster. Do I think he's gonna make the roster? Absolutely, but I wouldn't say he's a lock. So I want to see what he does during the preseason in some of these games here. Okay, 16, Nate Thomas. The Jones came out. I think believe Stephen Jones came out said Nate Thomas he was the first one to get some reps at the ones when Tyler Guyton went down, which thankfully that injury is not going to be as not as severe as we thought it was going to be. And hopefully he gets back sooner rather than later. But Nate Thomas, he missed last year due to injury. It is very important, I think, for him to get some good reps in. That's either left tackle or right tackle. Like I said, we brought in Lyle Collins for his position versatility, but that's Nate Thomas is a guy they had circled in, penciled in to try to get some reps with the ones at that left tackle position. So hopefully he has something there. They talked about him working out with Dak in the offseason. So I'm excited to see what Nate Thomas can do once we get those pads on, hitting some other people that aren't our guys. All right. Cool. So number 17, this guy's been lighting it up here lately. Perrion Winfrey. He was a guy from the UFL. We signed later on in camp. Um, he's been making some noise at that one tech position. So, I think he has a real shot of making his roster. Let's see what he does in these 3 preseason games, and see what he can do if he can solidify his spot on his roster. All right, 18. He's been lighting it up at camp. Kyer Elam, we made a trade for him this offseason. Right now, he's listed probably as one of our starting corners on the opposite of Deron Bland at this moment. Let's see what he can bring to the table. And I'm going to be curious if the Cowboys made a mistake by not picking up that 5th year option because, man, if he has a great season, he earned himself a bag. And I'm not sure how much, the Cowboys will be willing to pay because we have so many impending free agents, including him. If you remember the video I did, a week or so ago, we're talking about how many free agents the Cowboy had. Well, prior to re-signing Jake Ferguson, the Cowboys had 42 upcoming free agents. So now that number is 41. Hopefully it's down to 40 because we get this Micah deal done. But they've got a lot of free agents. I'm wondering if not picking up his 5th year option is going to hurt them in the long run. But he's a guy I'm excited to see playing against other people. He's been lighting up at camp against his own players. But let's see what he does against some other competition, all right? Number 19, another guy I don't think it's in jeopardy of losing his roster spot, but I'm excited for him to develop and continue to grow. Marisal Liufau. Love the guy. He was one of my favorite picks last year. He has a knack of finding the ball, in my opinion. Good run stopping linebacker. I think he's gonna get a lot of burn while we wait for DeMarvion Overshawn to come back. So I'm between Marisal, between Sanborn, between Murray, I think those 3 guys are gonna get a lot of the burn at your linebacker position. So I'm excited to see him develop and grow. Okay, and my last person on this list, I think he's got a tough battle to make it. Number 20, we got T.J. Bass. This is T.J. Bass's 3rd year in the league. And like I said, the Cowboys have a lot of depth right now at that offensive line position. And it's going to be tough. Based off of last season's roster projections, we did have 53 final man cut. We had 10 offensive linemen we had on the team. It's hard for me to pencil TJ Bass with that 10th spot. I mean, you got a lot of guys like Adenji, Sadiki Charles, a bunch of other guys that are there. I don't know if he can make it. I like TJ Bass. I liked him when he came out of college. Unfortunately, he went undrafted, but the Cowboys were able to sign him. Um, I don't know. We'll see. I think he's got an uphill battle to make this roster. That's just my personal opinion, but we shall see. So that's why I'm excited for today. 6 p.m. Cowboys versus Rams. We get to start seeing these guys play and get action so we can start getting an idea in our head who we think can contribute, who we think has the best chance of making this roster. Because it's one thing against practice against your own guys every day. Like that scrimmage was important they had against the Rams. So this game is going to be very important to kind of see how this roster and this depth chart is going to shape out. What I want you to do is comment below who's your favorite person you're looking forward to look this preseason. Who do you looking forward to? Who you think needs to have a good training camp, great preseason games? Comment that below, and be sure you make sure you like and subscribe to all these videos here on Ray Ray's Cowboys. Again, also go follow me over there at Ray Ray's Podcast. It's your boy Ray. It's game day. Let's get into it. Catch y'all next time. All right.
Hey, get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink, ho, let's get right.